So welcome everyone to week 4. You're doing a great job so far and we're nearing that midpoint of the program. It's that part of the program where your energy starts to drop a little bit and you just have to dig down deep into those discipline muscles and just ramp the energy back up, carrying you right through to the end of the program. You'll notice that in week 3, the intensity dropped just a little, and in week 4, we're going to bring it back up and carry it right through to the end of the program. You can do it, and you are more capable than you realize. So I'm excited to get started today. Take a deep breath, and here we go. We're going to get started with our week 4 video. Just take it one video at a time. So let's get started right away into our warm-up with week 4. We're going to bring our feet a little bit far apart, about hip width. Hands are going to go onto the pelvis. And we're actually going to start with just some small, easy circles of the pelvis. So we're not trying to do the motion too big here. It's just small, easy motions in one direction. It's like you're stirring the pelvis in a colander inside of the colander rim. So we'll have you do 3 more in this direction, 2, and 1. We're going to go ahead and swap sides. So just think of this as stirring the leg bone in the socket, stirring the pelvis in the cauldron. You're starting to wake up all those deep core muscles here, so becoming mindful of the pelvic floor, that internal layer of the abdominals, your transversus, and of course the layers of the abdominals or the core support to the back in the spine called your multifidi. We'll do 2 more, and last one. We're going to go ahead today into a self-massage. So taking your thumbs, the tips of your thumbs, we're going to place them on the fronts of your thigh. And you're just going to do some small squeezes down the front of the thigh. You've been doing lots of muscular work in this strength training video, and we want to make sure that we do keep these muscles supple and loose. So one of the things you can do in your warm-up is some gentle self-massage. So I'm going down the front of the thigh, changing my line slightly. There are 4 different heads of your quadriceps, so you want to make sure you target all aspects, the inside, the middle, and the outside. We'll go ahead and switch to the other side. So bringing that leg forward, unweighting it a little bit, taking your thumbs onto the thigh, and doing some gentle pressure and massage. You want to press only as hard as is comfortable for you. So remember, you're in control here. You don't want to push so hard that it hurts, but you want to find some of the deeper places of tension, and even doing some small little bit of circling can really help to release some of the tension in the muscles before we get started. Going back to the first side, coming right to the front of the hip here. You have a bone that sticks out called the ASIS. You'll take your thumbs just below that, and you're going to work that area of the upper thigh close to the bone. This is a muscle called your tensor fascia lata that turns into the IT band that is often tight in a lot of people, creating knee pain on the outside. We'll go over to the other side, so find the bone, your thumbs come just below, and you're just gently massaging that muscle up near the top of the pelvis. So we'll just do a little bit more here, and then give your legs a little bit of a shake out. We'll take your hands back to your pelvis, and we're going to do 5 more circles, maybe a little larger this time. 4, 3, and 2. Should feel a little bit looser now that you've released some of that tension, and then back the other way for 5, 4, 3. So really warming up the hip and the pelvis today, 2, and 1. You can go ahead and grab a stool or a chair, bring it close by. And you're going to place your leg onto the step or onto the chair. With your foot on here, you can reach underneath and do a gentle little bit of massage in the back of the thigh. So you're thinking about picking up the muscle and gently spreading it apart. So really gently through the back of the thigh, warming up the muscle tissue. You can go from the back of the knee up to near the sitting bone, or as far as you're comfortably able to reach. Switch sides, so strong, long, and tall, lifting the leg, hinging at the hip a little, and then gently relaxing that leg so it's loose, and then picking the muscle up and gently massaging. If you find that you have lots of sore and stiff spots in these areas, you can also use different ball surfaces to help release it up against the wall or sitting on the desk or on the floor. So we'll do a little bit more here, and then we'll take our chair away. Warming up some leg swings, so we're going to kick forward and back, forward and back. So here we're warming up the standing leg, getting our spine long and tall, and we're just moving that leg bone in the socket, bending the knee as it goes back, as though you're kicking the bum. We're going to do 3 and 2 and last one. We'll change sides, so get your foot stance planted, getting ready, long, tall, activating that pelvic floor and inner core, and then going ahead and adding in those leg swings. So leg kicks forward and back. You don't have to bring it high. Your spine should be very still here. So you could take a hand, place it on the spine, and just feel like there's no movement in the actual spine itself, your low back. This is just a leg bone in the socket motion and a knee bend. So 3, 2, and 1. We're going to go across the body now. So again, leg bone moving in socket. As the leg goes across, the hands can go off to the other side, and then you can switch. So it's just easy little bit of kicking here, or swaying the leg back to front. As the leg goes out to the side, watch you don't side hike your hips too much. So it's just a gentle sway to the side, not a huge lift. So we're going to do 3, 2, and 1. Great work for your ankle, trying to hold your arch and keep your foot stable and your body stable. So going across and out to the side. Warming up the breath, starting to feel the flow of the joints, and just getting that nice blood flow going. There we go, 3, 2. If you lose your balance, just stop and regroup, start again. Beautiful. Coming a little bit wider with the feet, we're going to do just a few arm circles up and overhead. Inhaling up, exhaling down for 3 and 2 and 1. Widening the stance here. Take your hands forward. We're going to take your hands to the insides of the knees, pressing them out. Come back to the hips, out in front, thumbs outward, widening the hands. So it's into the inside, up, out, and out. That can really be turned into one motion of up and out. So this is just an easy, flowy arm motion and a little bit of a gentle knee and hip bend just to get things started. We're not going too low here. Last 3, 2, and 1. So we're ready to get started with our circuit. We're going to go ahead and jump right in, and we're ready to go. So let me start the timer. So we're ready to go with our moves today. We're going to start with a wide leg upright row. So we're widening our feet nice and wide, and we'll start with just the leg motion. So again, leg bones turn out in the socket and knees widen out to the side, staying stacked over the center of the ankle and your second toe. Once you've got the motion of the legs going, remember level 1, just a small bend. Level 2, we're dropping down almost to about 90 degrees today, so long as your knees are comfortable with this. Once you've got this going, you're going to take your hands and bring them out to the sides. Before you do that, imagine broadening the clavicles a little before you start the upward pull. Make sure you stay grounded through your big toe and your outside toe as well. We'll add weight in our next round. We're going over to our bent over row, so we're going to pick up some weights and get ready with that. Here we go. So we're in the bent over row position here. And from here, what we want to do, we found our hip hinge, is we're going to think about elbowing somebody behind us, keeping the front of the chest wide, but without arching our back. So it's just an elbow motion back behind you. And exhale to row, inhale to go forward. So you're thinking about elbowing where the wall meets the ceiling. You've got that nice hip hinge, nice at the base of the pelvis here. Watch that the ribs aren't popping, so think about drawing them in gently. So you feel your internal core muscles all firing, including that pelvic floor. And we're rowing back, but without squishing the blades together. Getting ready for our next move, so back to our wide leg upright row. Feet are wide, we're nice and long and tall here. So getting the knees going for your first couple of reps. Balance your weight on the inside and outside of your foot. Then thinking about just drawing the blades back a little bit on your body, and then from there you can move into the upright row. If your shoulders are slumped forward, you may hear some clicking or clunking in your shoulders, which can often be corrected with a very tiny draw the shoulder blades back slightly before the lift. You imagine your inner thigh getting longer and stretching as you're going down, and then contracting from the inside thigh right up into the pelvic area on the way up. We're almost there. Use that breath. And we're into our upright row. So turning over, finding your hinge. Knees are pointing straight ahead. Internal core is active. Now we're elbowing the wall behind us. And we want to be feeling this in the muscles, in the back of the shoulder blade, and a little bit between the shoulder blades. But it shouldn't be a squishy, icky, pinching feeling. It should just be a very nice effort that's being initiated from the back of the shoulder blade and between the shoulder blades. Your core is also quite active here, and you're controlling the alignment of your spine start to finish. You may almost feel this in the gluteal muscles as well, because you're staying in the hinge for that full 50 seconds. We're back to our last set of wide leg upright row. So level ones, you're going to keep your hands here or just reach to the mid thigh. Keep the arms out of it if you find that the arm motion is too much for you or you're getting tired. Otherwise, we're dropping down and we're drawing the shoulder blades together slightly as the elbows lift wide and high. Your wrists are in alignment with the rest of your forearm as you hold the weight, so watch that they're not floppy. You're using your breath. You're feeling that inner toe and outer toe equally weighted. Your spine is nice and long and tall, and your head is stacked over the rest of your spine. If you're feeling this up into your neck, you can place the weights down or drop to a lighter weight. And of course, if you're clicking, you may need a tiny little bit more shoulders back. Finding your hinge, connecting the ribs to the pelvis, tuck the chin towards the back of the throat, exhale, and row. So again, this is coming from our mid-back shoulder blade area. That's where you want to feel that you're lifting the weights from. Exhaling to pull. Stay with the breath. You're doing really well. If you need to take a break, that's fine. You can place the weights onto your chair and just do the motion without the weights. And for a little extra support, you can step back with one foot. If you find being in the hinge fatiguing by round 3. We're almost there. Beautiful. We're getting ready for our next move. So for our next move, we're starting with a plank and a lunge. Just to get you started, you might want to bring your chair close by or whatever surface you have available, like the edge of a couch or something that just elevates you a little. Round 1, we're going to start our plank on the chair, and round 2, we're going to go down to the floor. So getting ready to set that up. Just to show you quickly, you hinge at the hip here, place the hands onto the chair. From here, we're going to slide one leg back. It's really easy here to start wanting to round to get your power, but you want to stay relaxed within the shoulder blades, but not collapsed. So think relaxed, but not collapsed. Chin is drawn to the back of the throat. Imagine pulling your leg deep into your low belly here. That gives you power of the leg into your core. And then from there, finding those internal core muscles, take a breath. And on the exhale, you're going to go ahead and step back. We're going to do a hold here for the 50 seconds and then get ready to pair that with our lunge. So finding your hinge, hands down, leg back. Draw the leg into the low back without moving the pelvis too much. Chin to the back of the throat. Find that inner core. Step your second leg back. And we're going to start with just a hold. You want to be feeling this in that nice part of that lower inner abdominal area. And if you find this too challenging, you can go to a higher surface like the back of the chair. We're holding here. Chin is in alignment with the rest of the body. And we're starting with just a straight hold today. So you're imagining from your shoulders to your ankles, you're one straight line. If you have a mirror, you can go ahead and look just to see. Remember, the base of the shoulder blades are relaxed but not collapsed. Beautiful. We're going to pair that with a lunge. So go ahead and grab one of your weights. You can move your chair just a little bit out of the way. So take your hand to your spine here. You want to feel nice, long, and tall, not arched, but not slouched. From this position here, we're going to step back with one leg, but my spine position should stay about the same, so it's not going to arch or collapse from where it started. From here, I'm going to bend both knees and then bring my leg back up. So I'm stepping back, bending the front and the back leg, and stepping forward. So you want to step far enough back that you're able to bend both knees without that front knee going forward. And of course, we have our weight today for an added element of challenge. In the next couple rounds, we'll step through to a high stance. We're staying on the same leg, so once you've got the hang of it, you can make that a little more fluid. We're going back into our plank, so either back to the chair or onto the floor. On the floor, in this position, connecting your ribs through to that low belly, you'll slide one leg back. Same thing, draw that leg towards the low back as though it's being held into the body. Press the foot into the floor, feel your abdominal muscles contract, and exhale, step back with your other leg. We're holding here, but if you need to take a break, you can either lower both knees or one at a time. So I'm going to go back into position, draw my leg bone in, ground my foot, my toes into the floor, strong back of my leg, trying not to round through my shoulders, back into a hold. We're holding here for about another 5 seconds, and we're ready to go into our lunge. So coming back up, grab a hold of your weight. Second side. So find that spine position, find the step back without changing your spine here, and then bending both knees. So again, watching you're not going forward, and also, of course, watching that the knee is not collapsing inward. If you feel like the knee collapses to the inside, I want you to go less far, and I want you to imagine turning your leg bone out in the socket from right here at your hip. So your hip controls the angle of your leg bone. So if you feel like the knee goes in, the leg bone can get turned out from right here, the hip joint. So we're stepping through, back, and up. Step only as far back as is comfortable, so it doesn't feel like you're being pulled in the front of the thigh. Beautiful. Going into our last plank. So back to your chair or down onto the mat. Finding this position here, set the spine, connect the ribs to the pelvis, slide one leg back, draw the leg deep into the core, feel that pelvic floor and deep internal muscles, relax the shoulders without collapsing, stepping back, hold. From here, it's just about breathing and just allowing yourself to stay connected to those deep internal core muscles. You need a break, place the knees back down on the floor, or even bending the knees slightly can help you feel more connected. Strong legs here, trying not to over round those shoulders or collapse them. You're done. Beautiful. Last round of lunges. Stepping forward. We'll do 3 per side. So to pick it up a little bit, you're stepping back to the lunge together and then lifting the leg up front. 1 together and up front. And 1 more on this side and up front. Switching the legs and hands so that can end up looking like one movement. You're lifting from deep within the abdominal area to lift the leg. And I have a slight turn out of my leg as I'm lifting it. When you do this video next time, you may want to start with the other leg forward so you get everything balanced out. So it's lunge, together, and step. Beautiful. You're going to pick up your lighter weights for our next move. So coming to the edge of your mat, we're going to go into a nice wide stance here. I want you to find a small bend at the hip and at the knee. Then you're going to bring your hands upward gently, like it's being lifted from the bottom here, so not stressing the neck. You're going to step together, curl, step apart, step together and apart. And then you're going back across your mat, together and apart. So together. If your arms are tired, you can have them lower. Or if you feel like you're being lifted nicely from your shoulder blades to bring the weights up, you can stay a little closer to parallel to the floor. Good, so it's just side step, high bicep curl. We're going to pair that with the tricep series this week, staying light again. Here we want to get nice, long, and tall, step back with one leg. So in this position, I'm thinking about lots of length, lots of connection and lift from the front. Here, I'm going to take my weights a little bit back behind me. We've done this before, but we've been bent over before. Today we're staying high, but we're going to lift the front heel. So it's a balance challenge for sure. You're going to bend and straighten. So this time you're not bringing those weights too far back behind you, just a little bit. And keep this in the backs of your arms and the bottoms of your shoulder blades. If being on your toes is too much of a balance challenge just yet, drop your front foot to the ground. Stay tall. Keep your spine stacked. Beautiful. We're back to our side steps. Getting ready here. Stepping in, wide knees. You're going to do that high bicep curl. Staying low, moving to the other side. If you want an added element of challenge, you can drop lower and stay low throughout the steps. As you do so, just be sure that you're not experiencing any knee discomfort. If you need to, come up higher. And that you're really using these inner thigh muscles as you're stepping. Focus on contracting that bicep, that muscle right in the top front of your arm as you're stepping. You're getting close. You've just got one more set of those triceps before we hit the mat. Keeping the breath going, turning back to your side. Stepping back with the opposite leg this time. Here again, we're coming onto our heel in the front, so lifting your front heel, long, tall spine, like a long, tall dancer. From here, hands come back behind, just contracting the backs of your arms gently, bending the elbow and back. So as you're going down, imagine reaching your arms down into the floor, but not so much that your whole shoulder gets pulled. So your broad shoulders, tall, but you're reaching with the arms, so it's like a strengthener, lengthener. Your core is active, and of course, your lower leg is quite active here, maintaining your balance. Your head is stacked over your spine, really focusing into the backs of those arms. Exhaling as you extend, inhaling and coming up. You've done a great job here. We're going to hit the mat and finish up with our core exercises and a little stretch. So we're getting ready. We're going to head down onto the mat for 2 core exercises. Our first one is on elbows and knees and is targeting the gluteal muscles in the back of the buttock. So you're going to come down onto your elbows and knees. So you can start knees about hip width apart and imagine a ruler down the midline of your body. You're going to drop yourself down onto your forearms, and in this position you want to feel that your tailbone is slightly reaching up towards the ceiling, but that you're not collapsing through your low back here. Your bottom ribs are connected through to that pelvic area through those core muscles. From here, we're going to think about sliding one leg back behind us, but picture a carpenter's level on your back. So as your leg slides, that carpenter level stays nice and balanced. You're going to lift your leg, bend your knee, strong muscles in the front. And from here, we're pulsing the leg bone gently towards the ceiling without changing the shape of our spine. So our goal is to feel this in the buttock muscles in the back of the hip. Sometimes you don't feel it if you're arching your back while you're doing this. And of course, all those muscles up front have to stay strong and activated to keep us out of our neck and shoulders. We're moving through another 5. So think back of the buttock. 4. If you're finding that challenging, you can just go from a leg straight to a leg bend, back to a leg straight. Last 3, 2, and 1. We're going to move over to the other side. So stacking both elbows equally and the 2 knees, feeling your weight centered. Find that small tail flare and internal core activating. You can tuck your toes under here, draw the chin to the back of your throat. Picturing that carpenter's level, slide one leg back. Keeping it nice and level, find the core muscles, bend the knee. From here, you're pulsing from the muscles in the back of the buttock, back of the thigh. For 8, 7, you're trying to keep this part of your body nice and still and quiet. 6, 5, really using the front body strength and the back thigh. 4, 3, and 2. Last one. Beautiful. You're coming down onto your side. Grab a pillow if you have one nearby, or a towel or a blanket. You can place your head onto the pillow and your arm underneath. So your head rests on the pillow rests on your arm. From here, bending the bottom knee to 90 degrees, we're going to straighten your top leg. Take your hand and place it underneath your bottom ribs. If you were standing and your bottom ribs were touching the floor, you'd be in a C curve. So imagine taking your bottom ribs just up off of the floor and hover them, feeling those muscles of the core lift towards center. From here, you're going to lift your leg till it's in alignment with the rest of your torso. Okay? Keeping your side waist here nice and long, you don't want to collapse here. You're going to bring your thigh bone backwards just a little bit behind the line of the body. That starts to engage these gluteal muscles here on the side. And we're going to do some small lifts up and down. It's a very small move. It's slightly up and slightly back. You don't want to be bending your back here, so you're not arching. And it's all about envisioning the work being done from the side of the buttock here. There's that small space for the bottom rib throughout. Last 3. Doesn't take much to fatigue these muscles. 2. And last one. Beautiful. We're going to head over to the other side to finish off. So placing the arm down on the floor, head on the pillow. Imagine that you are in a straight line from the base of your skull right down to your tailbone, extending your top leg, creating space for that bottom rib. Feeling those muscles engage like you're being lifted from the pelvic floor and closed through the front, supported through the back body. The leg can come slightly behind the line of the body, even turning the leg bone slightly in the socket so the kneecap slightly turns upward. You don't want to see the leg come forward as you do that. Moving from the side buttock here, we're doing 8 lifts up and slightly back, trying not to collapse in here or sideways, and trying not to roll forward or backwards with the pelvis. If you had a zipper on here, it would be pointing straight ahead, not angled at the floor or not angled at the sky. Last 3. Moving right from the side hip here, 2. Bottom rib lifted, last 1. Come on down. You can give your hip a little bit of a rub, and we'll turn on our back to finish. So we're onto our back, arms to the side here. Just take a moment, take a few deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. So releasing the workout a little bit before we finish. Inhale and out. Now all moves are a core exercise, but we are going to finish with one simple one. Taking your pillow and placing it underneath your low back. You want to place so that your tailbone is just at the very edge of the pillow or the towel. So it's not putting you into a big arch and you're not smushed flat, head falling off the pillow. It's just shaping right in that normal arch of your back. You're going to draw one knee to your chest, and then really you connect down low and deeply to those internal core muscles. From here, you're going to lift your second leg. So because you have the pillow, it helps you take that pubic bone and just draw it gently in the direction of your breastbone and nose. So keep connecting the pubic bone towards the breastbone and towards the nose. Grab a hold of one leg, and you're just going to lower one leg down and lift it back up. We'll do this 8 times, staying so connected to that deep internal abdominal muscle system. And what you want to be careful of here, or what's deceptive about this, is it seems fairly easy, but you really want to feel like you're doing it from the strength of your core, and you're not being pulled into an arch or popping the abdominal wall as you do so. So last one, and then we'll swap sides. So holding the other leg, find that connection, pelvic floor and transversus, and then lower from here and lift from here. Lower from here. So it's as though the leg bone is moving in the hip socket from the strength of your core. You shouldn't feel it into your mid-back. If you do, I just want you to move the leg less far and just get more connected to that deep abdominal layer. Last one, and down. Taking the pillow away, hugging the knees into the chest one at a time. So one, grab a hold of the back, draw the second one in nice and wide, and you're just going to rock side to side, releasing any tension that may have built up at the base of your spine. Nice and easy here. Bringing one foot onto the floor and crossing the ankle over that knee, drawing the leg in towards you, and again just moving into a stretch for the back of the hip here, so either grabbing your shin and drawing in, or the back of the thigh. Some of you might want to take your pillow and place it behind your head, because that way you get a nicer stretch into your hip without feeling stress or strain in your neck. We're holding and releasing the hip here for 3 breaths. Still a little bit of gentle core support. 2 and 1. Nice and relaxed. Foot back down to the floor. Unlock. Bringing your second leg up, rotating it, crossing it over the other knee. Grab a hold of the shins, strong core. Draw the leg in to start. This might be enough of a stretch for you. Or you can try drawing the leg towards you, or some of you can grab a hold of the back of the thigh. We're stretching the back of the right hip here. 3 breaths. 2. And last one. Coming back down to the floor into sitting. You can either kneel or sit onto your pillow or your towel. This gets your hips up a little bit higher, which is a lot nicer for sitting in a more neutral spine, so you're not slumping, but you're able to sit more upright. Bring your hands back behind the body and reach your hands towards each other, lightly grasping the fingertips so that you're in this position in the back, if that's comfortable. If this is as far as you can get here, that's fine. Otherwise, gently reach. You can bend the elbows gently, and think about just lifting your sternum a little bit towards the sky. Broaden your clavicles and stretching through the front of your chest here for 3. Nice deep breaths, 2. And last one. Taking your hands back out, broadening again, bringing the shoulder blade here back a little towards the spine. Turn your palm to face back behind you, and then bring your hand as though it was reaching into your back pocket. Keep that shoulder blade lightly drawing back to the wall behind you, and this will open up the front of the shoulder here. You can turn a little bit and look to the opposite direction, and a little bit towards the ceiling as well. Stretching open this line here for 2, and 1. Come back through center, open the hands, draw that blade back a little, take the palm facing backwards, reach into the back pocket, draw the blade back again just a little, and then you can turn and look the other way, and maybe a little bit towards the sky for 2, and 1. Coming back through center. You've done a great job. I'm looking forward to seeing you in week 5. Keep it up this week, and we're ready to keep going.